Hey everybody, Jesse here for 3Prong Gaming, and in today's episode we are going to round out and finish our sleeping task behaviors so that our NPC will go to bed, get some sleep, and etc. etc. So yeah, I do want to let you guys know this video, I can tell you, you can see the video time on there. It actually runs about 45 minutes or something like that, pretty close up there. The majority of everything is done right around the 30-minute mark. I did run into a bug that I had, and it was a very simple fix, so really going through my process. If you don't want to watch me go through my process, I should throw an annotation up there on the screen when it comes to that time that the bug appears, and you can just skip all my debugging stuff to see exactly what the bug was and to finish up my outro of the video. But yeah, so sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, cup of joe, whatever you drink, hot cocoa, and open up your editor and let's get this thing going. Alright, so in the last episode, which you should probably watch if you haven't done so already before you jump into this one, we're going to continue up. This is the second and hopefully the final part for the sleeping functionality for our NPC. But yeah, in the last episode we set up all the main functionalities to be able to enter and exit buildings, and just kind of enabled a task over here. The enter and exit building is what we changed it to. It used to be is at location task, but we changed the name of it and did some little rework of that. So today we're going to go ahead and round this out. So let's get this thing started. First, let's jump off of this and do a sequence. All right, and within this sequence, what we need to do is we need to add a decorator, and this one we will do is at location, decorator is at location. And a lot of the reason why we changed the name of this, or one of the reasons why we changed the name of this, because this used to be task is at location, is because we got the decorator is at location, and you know, you probably should be a little bit unique in your name spacing. All right, so let's change this. Let's call this one in the node name is not at house. All right, so that way we know. And what we need to do on this one is we need to make sure location check. We need to make sure the location check is set to home, current location, house reference. Those are all correct. Okay. And did we set up node aborts mode? Okay, it's not highlighting green. It used to highlight green, but now you get this little down here. So I just want to make sure that we did set up the flow control there. All right, so is not at house. So we want to make sure that we're not already at our house sleeping or resting up or whatever we might be doing within our house. Okay, but one thing we're going to need to do, and I'll kind of explain this because we're going to have to do this a couple times. I think we've done it over here in a couple of other tasks. Yeah, we did it right there. Is we're going to need to force success. So right click on this, add decorator, force success. Okay, because if we are at the house, we don't want this to bind up because it's going to lock up right here. If we are at the house, it's going to lock up right here and it won't get past this until we're no longer at the house. But that's not the case. We want it just to kind of continue through its flow right here. Okay. So off of this, one thing we're going to need to do, the way this has been set up is with our enter and exit is, see, we come in here when we set our new residency and we enter the building, right? So we're automatically entering the building. And then once we're done with that, if we were to drop an NPC inside the world right now, he'd find a home. And as soon as he'd get it inside his house for the first time, he'd start regaining. Even if he's only in there for a couple seconds or 1 second, he's going to regain a little bit of energy. I set this up on purpose because whenever you're in the house, I mean, because, you know, 1 second game time could mean, you know, 30 minutes or 1 second of real time could be 30 minutes of game time or whatever. So you want him to regain a little bit of stamina while he's there. We're going to have to add a node right here. We're going to have to put this down here too, because if we dropped him in right now, when he goes and switches to work, and even though he's going to go find a place to live, he's still going to be regaining stamina. He's never going to drop and lose any stamina. So while I'm talking about it, let's just go ahead and do that right now. let's go ahead and in between, create a little bit of space here. Let's just do it right in between here. Let's go enter exit building, drop that in, and could probably change the name, the default node name for that. And but we'll just go ahead and call it exit building. Okay. And we need to set this one false, because we're exiting here. So we don't want, it's not a new residency. And enter building, no, we're exiting the building is what we want to do right here. Okay. Again, if we're not already in our building here, this is going to lock up. Okay. Right. This is going to come in as fail, because if we open this back up here, if we're not entering the building or exiting the building, when we come out of here for exit building, if we didn't exit a building, which, you know, there's a possibility we may not actually be in a location when this runs, it's going to lock up in that same spot because it's going to hit false, and it's going to keep bouncing back and forth. It'll never get past this one. So we need to add a for success. And no matter what happens with this, it's going to bypass this. All right. It's going to go and make sure it continues its path right there. And with that, this is only if we're unemployed. So we need to actually add this in. So if we are employed, we're going to have to add another one of these. We could probably just go ahead and Control W, maybe. Is it going to let us? Oops. Control W. I feel like it dropped it in, but it did it in the wrong spot. All right. So Control W right there. So where we need to put this now is we actually need to hook this up. Let's go ahead and slide all this over, except for that. Slide this over some, just like so. And then let's just go ahead and hook that up right there. All right. But one thing we need to add to this is go ahead and right click. We need to add another decorator. Just check the blackboard. And I'm going to take this and slide it up. We want this to be the first check. Okay. So on this blackboard, we need to check is not busy is what we'll name it. And because of the name, we know we need to come down here. Is busy is not set. We want to make sure that we are not busy. Okay. So if we are not busy, then run this building. Okay. So that means, because if we're not busy, then that means we're not even in here. Okay. So, I mean, is not busy is being checked right there as well. So, you know, we don't want to continue along this if we are busy. Okay. But if we're not busy, come down here, exit your building, because if you're busy, chances are likely, well, you're going to be in a building, or if you're not in a building, you're probably gathering resources. You're busy. Okay. Your NPC is busy. So that's why we got that. So select the task right here. Again, make sure that all your references are set up. Current location, house reference is busy, and new residence, false. Enter building, false, because we're exiting the building. Okay, and I believe, let me double check, that's all we need to do for that. Okay, so that's just our fallback to make sure that we're going to start depleting stamina if, you know, we by switching tasks. So you just have to keep that in mind whenever you start a new branch. You're going to have to make sure that you exit the building. So just like we're starting a new branch here with sleep, we come out and do, let's add a exit building, enter exit building. Okay. And actually, let me get back here. I'm looking at the wrong one. So yeah, rename this to exit building. Did I spell that right? I can't see. Exit building. Yep. All right. And again, not entering new residence. Both are false. And force, where's that? Force success. Okay. And is not at house, force success. And then off of this sequence as well, pull off this and do a simple parallel. Do a move to task, our custom move to location. Drop that in right there. All right, so now with our custom location, or move to location, need to make sure we get this all set up right. Target location, destination, Current location. All right, those are right. House reference is selected. Now our location type that we want to do is our home. All right, and should be invisible. Let's set that to false. This is just kind of a fallback. Remember, we set that up just in case if we're invisible when we go to move. We don't want to be invisible when we move. So this is just kind of a make sure that the NPC is visible. So should the NPC be invisible? False. All right, so that's all set up there. And in here, let's go ahead and do our stop movement. This is our safety switch, just in case you destroy the building or something happens along the way while you're there, that the NPC is handled in doing so. So we will add a loop. There it is right there. We'll make it an infinite loop. Where's it at? We got to select it. Infinite loop, true. Infinite loop time, that's a new one. Infinite loop timeout time. When looping. Yeah, loop forever. We want it to loop because it won't loop forever, ever. It'll, as long as you're moving, it's going to loop. That's what we want. Okay, and then like we did with the other ones, we probably could have just copied and pasted the other stop movement, but we will do a does location exist? Okay, and change no name. Does destination not exist? And then run this as an inverse and save that just to make sure. Control S, I want to make sure everything's saved, and it is. Okay, so there's our movement task set up. So now we come over here and, sorry, I just moved my cheat sheet around. Yeah. Okay, so now let's pull off of this, and we need to create actually a new task. Let's go ahead and do that. This new task, let me open this up, and there's more in here than I thought. Okay, in this new task, let's call this one, or not called it yet. Let's do the BTT task blueprint base. Open that up, put that there. AI, let's rename this to T_sleep. Okay. Open this back up. Let's do a receive execute AI. There it is right there. Okay, let's go back into, let's see. We need to find right here. We'll Control C, copy our reference cast from our enter exit building. Come over here to sleep, Control V. And just get rid of that. Hook up the controller and the pawn. Okay, so now we need a couple variables here. We're going to need, well, obviously, let's jump back into here real quick. Let's delete that. We need to right-click on pawn, create variable pawn. Same thing with controller. Right-click, create variable controller. And there we go. You can rename those pawn reference, controller reference if you want. I'm not going to. Okay, jump out of the reference cast there. All right, so now let's create a couple new variables. Let's call this one target location. Make it of type Blackboard key selector. Create another variable. Let's call this one is busy. Leave it as a Blackboard key selector. Another one, AI state Blackboard key selector. Let's make sure all three of those are visible. Okay, and we're going to need a couple other variables in here, but we'll get to those when we get to them, when we need them here in just a second. So take your target location. Let's pull this out. Let's get it. And we want to clear our target location. Okay. Move this down here. Hook this up. Okay. And take our pawn. Get it. And set actor. This should already pretty much be, let me see. Hold on a second here. Wow. All right. Sorry about that. I was just, as I'm going through this, realizing that, yeah, I didn't take advantage in the sleep task. I didn't take advantage of the enter exit building functionality. I pretty much did it all within here. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of do this on the fly a little bit. I didn't change my code, my cheat sheet, but I pretty much know what I need to do, I believe. So, yeah, hopefully when we test this at the end, everything works out properly and we get no bugs with it. But let's jump back out here to the behavior tree really quick. And let's do enter exit building task. Okay, so after we're done moving, we want to enter the building. So let's change the name of this. I do that every time. Enter building. Okay, so make sure you select enter building, true. Okay, so then once we're done entering the building, it'll do its thing to enter the building. And we need to come out here. And now we'll put it out here anyways, sleep task. You could probably forego this sleep task. I'm going to show you why we're not going to forego it right now. Because right now this will work. If you just had this enter building, it would be fine. It would, go ahead and enter the building. You'd start regaining stamina. But let's go ahead and jump back in here anyways. We're going to need a variable here. Yeah, we're going to need another one, current location. Again, Blackboard key selector. Let's go ahead and drop that. Okay. So, is busy, I believe. Let's double check this. I believe we set is busy in here, right? When we enter a building. No, we do not. So let's make sure, let's go in here to sleep now. So grab your is busy. Let's get it, because now we're busy. We're in there sleeping. And set Blackboard value as Boolean. And set it to true. Okay, so we got that part set up right there. And now we need this. Remember this receive execute AI. This is pretty much like a begin play. Okay, this is only going to run once when this task first executes. Okay. So, because we're going to run a tick in here. So this will only run once when it started. And then once it comes back to sleep again, this will run again, because once the task is completed, then, it begins play again. It receives execution again, but it only receives it once when it's first called. So let's create a new variable here. Let's call this one min stamina. Okay. And let's make this of type float. Let's do another one. Let's call this one max stamina. Again, a float. And one more. Let's call this one random stamina. Okay. Let's just make this minimum stamina an eyeball right there. Let's make it exposed. And I'll explain this as we move on here. Ultimately, let's set up the code and I'll explain it. I'm sure you probably already figured it out. But let's go ahead and drag this stuff out. Anyways, we need the minimum, we need the maximum, and we need to set the random. So we got that out there. Okay, so we need to do a random float in range. Hook up the minimum there, the maximum there, and let's go ahead and take this maximum. Let's compile it so we can set its default. Says default to 100. You don't ever want to be over 100 maximum stamina. So we'll set its default to 100. The only reason why we created the maximum is because you need it here for the float. You could probably hard code it in there, but variables are usually always best. I try not to hard code as much as possible. Okay, so we take this random. So what this is going to do, this allows us to do, because as you know, when we all sleep, rarely do you actually get, you may not get a full night's worth of sleep. Okay, so this just makes it to where the NPCs aren't always getting a full night's sleep. They'll probably rarely ever get a full night's sleep, but they'll be refreshed enough. So you can make it as low as you want. That's why we set the minimum here. Let's go ahead and make the default value of this minimum for now. Let's just make it, and I didn't know where to select it. I didn't select it. Let's make this minimum value 85. Okay, so whatever this number is, we're going to check against this. So if your stamina is whatever the random number is between 85 and 100, then that's enough sleep for your NPC, and he's going to go ahead and get out of bed and do what he needs to do. You can set this higher. If you want them to get more sleep, then, by all means, set the minimum higher. If you don't want to do this, if you want them to always get 100% sleep every single time, then, just don't do this section of it, and we'll just check against if the values are at 100, which we're going to do right now. We're going to check the values right now. So we need a tick. What the heck? So one problem with using multiple screens, you forget which one's selected. So we need a tick, receive tick AI. We could probably just do regular receive ticks. We're not going to pull anything off of this because we already got a reference cast there. But I just out of habit like to keep it as AI. So drop in a branch. Okay, so every tick, we need to check to see if our pawn, get our pawn, check the stamina, and let's get it. Okay, we need to check, is our stamina greater than or equal to our random stamina? Okay, so with whatever is selected right there from the random stamina, are we equal to or greater than that? All right. If we're not going to run anything off the false. We want this to continue to tick. We're not going to, normally you might want to run an execution, finish execute right here as maybe false or something, but we don't want to do that. We want this to stay within this task. Okay. The AI controller, I'll explain that. The AI state will continue to run, just in case something happens and you need to switch to eat or go to work or whatever, it'll do it. Even though this is constantly ticking. But let's take is busy and set blackboard value as bool, and we'll leave that as false because we want to switch it off of false because we are no longer busy because our stamina requirement has been met. Okay, and then just as our defaults here, we take our AI state, let's get it, and set as enum. There it is right there. Okay, like I said, this is just going to be fallback. You could probably even set it to homeless if you want, because the AI state service, the AI service is going to decide what state it should be in. But we're just going to set it because once you're done sleeping, you're going to go to work. But if you set up the other functionality for eating or something like that, because working is our last one. Remember when we created that, I called that our fallback. So it's going to run through the entire set of code in the service to see what we need next, and if it all fails, then it'll stay on working. But even though we set this to working, if we still need to eat or something in between, it's going to hit that no matter what, and it won't be on working. Okay, so let's do literal enum AI state right there. Let's do that. Set it to working as our fallback, and then we will now with this we will finish execute right there. Okay, but now what we need to do, and we'll do it as successful right there. Now what we need to do is we need to handle this because this is constantly ticking, and when we're running the behavior tree, it's going to sit here on this task. It's not going to, normally what we do, like if you were to watch a behavior tree when you're over here working, is it's constantly looping through these and running through all these tasks and checking all these decorators and all these tasks. This one, it's going to sit right here and it's going to wait. The only things that are going to change this is if this aborts, which this would only abort, is if the AI state changes while you're in this task or when we complete whatever, when we do a finish execute right here. But we need to handle the abort within the sleep task because it can be aborted while you're in here. Okay, so let's do a receive. Let's type in abort if I can spell. Receive execute abort AI. Grab our current location here. Let's get it. And let's clear, right? Because not only maybe you destroyed the house while the NPCs are in there, right? So that in itself would and could abort this task. So we need to clear our current location. And even though we have the enter and exit task, we can't run that within the abort. We can't switch and run a task afterwards because once the behavior tree aborts, even if we have something after this. Once this aborts, whatever task is running at the time, it's only going to run that abort functionality within that task. It won't move forward and it won't move backwards. It's just going to complete here, abort, and go to whatever it was aborted to go do. Okay, so we have to handle that right here. So, but that's not going to be too bad. Let's grab our controller reference right here. Let's get it and drag this off. We need regain stamina. Oops, not that, not the function. We need the handle. Just type in handle, regain stamina handle. Okay, and then pull off of this one, and let's go ahead and clear and invalidate timer by handle. Okay, because now we're no longer in the house, right? We're no longer sleeping, so we need to make sure that that timer for regaining stamina is no longer good. And at the same time, we need to get our deplete stamina handle. Okay, and then pull off of this one, and we need to unpause timer by handle. Got that down there. Let's hook up the execution. And then lastly, we need to take off this controller, add a reroute here, and a reroute here, and then pull off of this one, and then we need to switch sleep. Okay, so that's handled. Essentially, that's the exiting of a building functionality right there. Okay, and then abort, we need to finish abort. Okay, so yeah, if something happens while we're in here ticking on this and looping within this tick, because that's one thing up here. Normally what we do when we receive execute and most of our other tasks is we put a finish execute at the end of that. We don't want to do that with this because we are running the tick. If we put a finish execute up here, whether true or false, once the receive execute was done completing, it would never actually hit this tick because this runs instantaneously before the first tick ever happens. So it'll zip through this one, finish execute, and the tick would never operate. Okay, so we don't put anything after that. We only put the one after the true branch on the tick, and then the finish abort. So if we abort, then we're going to exit the building, and everything should be sweet. So control and save. You can comment all that if you would like. Let's go ahead and rename this one to go to sleep. Make sure all your key selectors are visible and set accordingly. There's your minimum stamina that we set right there, made it visible. So now we can change that to whatever we would like. So now cross our fingers, right? So now we don't want to put a forced success on this one because we're entering the building. So if something happens while we're entering the building, and it comes back false, we don't want to go to sleep. This will fail out and zip up. So we'll never go to sleep, and that will be an easy indicator that, hey, something's not right. We can come back and easily identify that it's within here for some reason, and we can diagnose it a little bit better that way. So, okay, I think that's it. We're, about 27 minutes, right around there. And that should be it for this one. Let's go ahead and... One thing we do need to do here, though, let's add a decorator and is at location. Okay, so we need to make sure before we ever go to sleep, let's go ahead and select this, location check, home, current location is set, house reference, and yeah, let's rename this is at home or house, however you want to name it, is at home. Save it. So yeah, now we'll never go to sleep. We got to make sure that we're there, that our current location is set to our home or house. All right, so now we should be able to test it. We're at about 28 minutes. It should be perfect timing to go ahead and test this out. Let's cross our fingers since I had to change some things up there. And go ahead and drop a person in there. Let's up the game speed. Select him. Check his stamina. See, his stamina went up just a little bit while he was inside the building. Now he's out, and it's starting to deplete. Okay, cool. He's found his job, going to his job. We don't have any buildings out here to construct yet, so remember, he should, right about 60%. He's going to decide that he needs to get tired and go to sleep. So it should be any second now. Or did I change those numbers? Do we even have those numbers? He's not going to sleep. Critical state. So might have a bug in the code right here. I might have to go diagnose it and put you guys on pause. Yeah, because he should have went to sleep. So let me move this off screen while that's working and just show you guys this. Where are we at? We're random wait is at house, enter building. So it's failing at enter building. Oh, okay. That's the problem right there. Because we want is not at house. See, that's why I try to set the tasks name or the decorator's name and the tasks to know exactly what we want to do, because, you know, this could mean multiple things. We want is not at house, but it's currently checking is he at the house, and it's failing because he's not at the house. So it's failing, and the way this is set up is we want him at the house. So we need to inverse this condition. Okay, so now he is not at this location. Okay, and it was for the reason why we put the for success in here. So now it was going through here and running that branch. So let's go ahead and try that again. Push play. I think it's going to go off screen. Let's move this over here. All right, drop in another NPC. Grab him right there. Let's actually up the speed. I missed him. Okay. There we go. She's out. And depleting her stamina. Perfect. She found a job. She can go back to a job. She can get in there. And about 60%, she should run right to a job. Or, excuse me, right back to the apartment. There she goes. She's going to jump in there and start regaining her stamina. Oh, you know what we need to do? Let's go in here for testing, because we never up that. She depletes it. It depletes stamina pretty fast, but we didn't set the regain, and it's all for testing. We're going to have to go back and redo. Let's see. I don't think it's in the controller, right? No, it's going to be in the AI BP right here. Let's grab. Let's see. Where is it? Maybe it is in the AI controller. Regain stamina hourly regeneration. So it's set pretty low right now, because see, right now we've got the hourly deduction up pretty high at 50. So we want the regeneration just for testing purposes. We want to set it higher. I'm going to do 75. So that way I just know 7.5 is where I had it at before, and it's more than the 50. Just like the 50, I believe. Actually, I think I had it set for 3.5 originally, but we'll figure out numbers another day. But 75 right now is how fast it will regenerate stamina when it goes in. So Control S, save everything. Sorry, hiccup. Okay, so let's jump back out here. Push play. All right. Let's go ahead and just up the speed now. Drop in an NPC. Select them. And so now we should start seeing it go pretty fast. Regain stamina. You can see it click up while they're in there, even for that just 1 second. Found a job. Walking around. There it goes. But see, now it might hit 60 seconds before it reaches the job, which would be a good test, and it didn't. That's okay. It would have been nice to see him abort his move to the construction site, but that's okay. I know it works. You can do that another time if you want. You could test it by dropping in enough people to, for your jobs or whatever. So now he's regaining stamina. Hey, that's me, Jesse, right on. Yeah, so his stamina is regaining. We want to make sure that when the random, see now it's picking its random number, or it had its random number. So now it's checking against that. Cool. So we hit that. Now we're depleting again. He goes back to work. So now, instead of starting it all over, let's do a construction office. We'll just drop one right there. And dang it, I thought I fixed that. I thought I tested. I fixed it in my other one. I haven't fixed it in this one. And I should have checked. But right now, this is one of the main things we want to check here, though. When he leaves, right, this is our progress right there. Cool, he left. So now our progress stopped. That's the main thing. We wanted to make sure that he exited this building, so we handled that properly. The progress is stopped. He went in there. Now he's getting some sleep. Should set this up. I have this set up elsewhere in my original project, where we can see all the people that are in a building within this. So maybe we'll set that up another time. So that way you can select them while they're in the list right here and check them out. Okay, so he's regaining his stamina, going back to work like he's supposed to. Stamina's depleting, and he's going back to work, right? Oh, no. So, yep, and then the progress starts back up. I doubt he'll actually finish it before he gets to depleted again, because he didn't get real far in it before he got tired. So, okay. That's pretty much it. Everything seems to be working. Awesome. I didn't get any bugs by changing my code on the fly. Yes, so he's down to 71. I wanted to make sure that he was... Oh, he shouldn't have exited. That's one thing right there. He should not have exited this construction site until his stamina got below 40. So, which means I've probably... It's probably just the variable inside there to check within the task. Let's see. Is busy. See, because he's still going. I want to watch this for a second now. You guys don't have to watch this if you don't want to. I know I'm over my 30 minutes, but yeah, we got to debug this a little bit because he left early. He shouldn't be leaving until he reaches 40%. Oh, no. See, he's going to go to sleep right now. Dang it. I need to get another one out here. I didn't take that into consideration. So while we're waiting for him to move around, I'm going to slide this off here. And I believe, where do we have that at? We want to check. I got to think. He's still sleeping over there. Yeah, he's still sleeping over there. Here's his blueprint. Yeah, he's sleeping. See right now? See how it's just stuck right here? If he were to abort the AI state, so instead of, like here, you'll see right here, he's moving to the location, going right there, and now he's going to the job site. So what I meant by the tick in here and not looping, see now once he reaches a construction site, see this? How it's constantly ticking. You can see it after the random wait, it flickers like that. Okay. So it's just doing that because it's failing out here. You see that red flash right there? It's because it's failing, but it's moving on. Whereas in here, when we had the loop or the tick just kind of in there looping. Oh, dang it. I wasn't checking. That's what I wanted to check on. Let's look at that. I'm going to put in another construction office closer. He'll go to that, work that one first. Okay. Sorry, I was in here showing you guys this and I wasn't paying attention to what I wanted to see. Where did I put... I'm trying to think of where did we check the I know it's in, oh, I think it's up in here in the AI state. Let's open this up. Is sleeping, no. Check sleep needs. In here, is busy, local, is busy. We get that from the Blackboard value, is busy. If it's true, if we are busy, then we come over here. Is it less than 40? I think we're working right now. So let's check. Oh, he was working. See, he's not less than 40. So I don't understand what. Oh, and I stopped it. No. Get needs. Stamina. Okay. AI state. So we get the pawn. We get his needs. Is stamina less than 40? So it's failing out right here. So I'm wondering if when this is ran, check sleep needs, because it's failing out right there. So I'm almost thinking that it's not setting he's busy. So let's try this again here. Let's go V, let's drop him in, throw in a construction site here. Up the game speed. Oops. Let's move that off to the side. Sorry, you guys don't need to necessarily see that going. We need to check in here. So now let's throw that on the controller. So right now, see, it's going through the sleep needs is passing false because he doesn't need to sleep. Where is he at right now? Okay, he found a job. He's going to get his job right now. And let's check here. See, now he's going to sleep. Is busy is false. We need to see when he's working here if is busy. So let it get its sleep, and we will check to see if is busy is set to true once he gets over in here, starts working. That might be the problem. And you can see is true or is busy right here set to true because he's sleeping. But yeah, you see how this isn't ticking? Okay, cool. He's done. Going back to the job site. Is busy is false. He's going to the job site right now. That should switch to true as soon as he goes. And it does. It switches to true. Okay. So let's go back into AI state. See, I don't understand that. Is busy. We set that. Is busy local. That's just this variable right here. If it's not busy, right? If it's less than 60, go up that way. Okay. Then if it's less than 60, then run true. Are we busy? See, he's going to the job site, back to the job site right now. He's working. So is it less than 60? Wonder if we can check the variable stamina. What is the current stamina? Okay, let's go ahead and back into here, resume. I might have to do this off camera. I've wasted a lot of time trying to debug this with you guys, but you know, it's debugging. So, oh man. See, it didn't even fire that. All right, I'm going to have to debug this. I'll pause this and come back and show you guys what is going on. All right, we're up to 42 minutes right about now. So let me go ahead and pause this, and I will be back hopefully as soon as I figure out what the heck is going on. Wow. Okay, so you guys probably noticed what was wrong with it, and I didn't. So hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. It literally seconds after I paused the video, I figured out what was going on. AI state, you see right here, is busy is set to self actor. It needs to be is busy. Save it. And let's just go ahead, since we're already this far into the video, right? If you guys are still watching this, thanks for hanging in there. Hopefully you learned some decent debugging stuff right there. And yeah, really the way I noticed that, all I did was I came in here to set this as right click it right here on the red tick, watch a value. I clicked that, and before I even ran it, I came up here and I looked at this and I went, oh, I wonder if that's set. And then I came out and looked and saw that it wasn't set. So yeah, it was really as simple as that. That's all I did to really figure that out, is I just looked over here and was like, oh, I wonder if that, because that seems to be a common problem. So let's press play. All right, bring this back over here. Turn the game speed up. 4V. Oops, why'd you go way over there? I'm going to add a construction site like so. Cool. So she's regained a little bit of stamina while she was in the building. You saw that jump up. All right. Now she's turned to a construction worker, and she's randomly walking to some location. Now she's going to work. Okay, she's actually probably going to hit 60% before she gets to work. Yep, she did. Cool. So she aborted that. Notice that. And yeah, regain her stamina. And then she'll head straight to work as soon as she gets that. Yeah, so thanks for hanging in there, guys. Sorry, sorry about the rarity in videos, and But, you know, hopefully I'm getting back on it. I have been working on the next project. Like I told you guys, I've been doing that. But just my time has been precious lately. And, you know, I apologize for that. I don't forget about you. Okay, so she's at work, still depleting her stamina. Oh, I wonder. I don't want to click off of her. I just want to see what the progress of that building is. I don't want her to finish before her stamina gets low. Because might have to up how quickly her stamina. So now it's below 50%. So she should be 40%. Pretty quick. There she goes. Hit 40%. Building's not completed. Cool. We can assume that was 40% because that's what we set it to. So yeah, we know it was below 50 because it was in the red, whereas in last time it was above 60. So and then come over here and you can check the progress of this. Stopped at 81%. So that is it, guys and gals. I appreciate it. I hope you guys hung in there with me and learned a little something new, at least with the debugging stuff. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, if you did enjoy it or learn something new, go down and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe while you're down there liking it. And yeah, until next time, peace.